Good morning, everyone. So we'll be starting the second day of our FPP program. So this is the first session, and our speaker for today in this first session is Dr. Professor Amolesh Mukhopadhyay. He has been a renowned figure in Indian research field, and also in the he's been engaged with almost 3 decades with the Department of Science and Technology, and at various positions, and he has created several successful he has created and implemented many programs and schemes like R&D infrastructure, Inspire fellowship and Inspire scheme, etc. Now he's been associated with us with Adamas University now as a chairman of Center of Research and Innovation. So it's a great privilege to welcome Dr. Professor Mukhopadhyay. So the title of talk is Government Initiatives Towards Innovation and Entrepreneurship Development. It's over to you, Dr. Mukhopadhyay. So thank you for your time.
Thank you to all. It is a very nice day and also a good atmosphere, I hope, among the participants. And if I understand correctly, the participants are from various institutions across the country and maybe a big staff and faculty. So what I hear today is basically some kind of exposure to the people about the innovation in India, right from the very early stage of the Indian civilization, and as well as the various initiatives of the governments, its fallout, etc., etc. So during the course of my presentation, I will try to share some of my thoughts as well as some of the initiatives which has been taken by various government agencies, and I will try to encourage and excite some of you in this process. Let me share my screen to you. Where is that? Share.
Just a minute, sir. I'm making you co-host. So.
Just give an option to share my screen.
Just a minute, sir.
Right.
Just share option that.
Admin, only admin. Make post.
Admin, I think, sir, you are now co-host, so you can now share this.
So I need to share from my computer. So how do I do that? I need to share from my computer.
Just a minute.
It is not in that.
Yesterday,
Sir,
stalls का जो area रहता है,
Sir, which
Sorry? Sorry?
Sir, just a minute, sir.
But these are various drives I will get it.
Just a minute, sir. Give us 1 minute.
তুমি করবে তো না 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 উনি করুক
I will share from my side. So
Yes, thank you, sir.
So how do I do that? Because it is not shared by computer hard desktop. It is shared with Google Drive, Microsoft OneDrive, Dropbox, and all this. So which one to be clicked? Can you
Just
suggest?
sir, hello.
Yeah,
Just you can share.
yeah. It has come now. It has come now. I think you
Just
people
check
have
whether you can change the slides or not.
enabling editing. I think this is not edited version. This is not edited version.
Sir, I think sir, I think there is some problem with our side, so I will just change the slides for you. Just let me know when you need to change the slide.
Yeah. So this is not the edited version. This is enable editing. So you have to first make it a edited version and then you add it.
Oh,
So this cannot be changed.
oh,
You know?
enable editing. Just a minute. Okay.
Hmm. Now make it full screen. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Let me change it. You will change it, huh?
I will
You
change
will.
the slides.
Okay. 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 Thank you. So thank you to all once again, and let me start my thing. So actually, what I thought that let me speak about the ecosystem of innovation and entrepreneurship activity for the people who are just coming for the innovation track. You can give me the next slide. So if you look at next slide, yeah, if you look at the innovation story of Indian scenario, which is very, very old, it is as old as 7000 BC Indus Valley civilization's time. See, we uh, have the strength in our civilization right from the dental surgeon. When they do the dental surgery, they use some drills. So right from that day onward and today, the Indian innovation activity is very, very strong. Even the 7700 BC, the Pythagoras theorem by Indian and Chinese mathematician, like that cataract surgery by Sushruta, invention of the zero by Aryabhatta, then the shampoo which is called today at every household 1762 from various herbs in our India, and then Raman effect 1928. So like that, there are very many more innovations happened in the Indian soil as old as 7000 BC. So Indian scenario of the innovation is not a new one. It is a very old, and many countries has learned this innovation or learned culture from India alone and only from the India. Next slide. Next slide. So if I say, because since all of you are maybe the first timer in this program, let me define the innovation. And if you know the innovation definition, which is basically a search for the discovery, for the development, for the improvement, for the adoption, including commercialization of the new process, new product, new organization structures and procedures. Because every sphere you have the innovation content, and that's the way the innovation is today defined. It is a continuous search. is the continuous search and the discovery for this sort of practices. Now, why the teachers and students are very important in this process? Because this innovation is encourages the teachers as well as the students to explore the research and use all tools to uncover something new. It involves a different way of looking the problem and solving them. The thinking process that goes into will help the students to develop their creativity and problem solving skill. Because every individual, and especially the students who are just entering or maybe 3 years, 4 years, academic sector, higher education sector, they are always creative. They are always inquisitive, and their thinking process is very important to nurture, and their thinking and to put them some kind of uh, issues or problems so that they can develop that skill. So this way, the innovation is defined today uh, to nurture and to encourage both the teachers community as well as the student community. So we need to uh, take this part in the course of my lecture and also in the innovation ecosystem. Next one. Now, when we think of the innovation, that we need to innovate, we need to develop, we need to research, what basically triggers that? Why we think that we need to do a newer things to develop or newer research to make it? Why? What triggers that? So if you look at it, there are various elements of triggering which we call catalyst or the drivers. It basically triggers your mind. You saw somewhere somebody is doing a very laborious job. You start thinking, how can I remove this drudgery of a person? So that is the trigger. So similarly, there are a couple of points, couple of catalysts we call in our language of the innovation, or we call drivers for innovation. One is the financial pressure to reduce cost, increase the efficiency, and do more with less. That means, suppose in a commercial process, you produce something and market it to the society or the community. The another company intends to produce the same product, but tries to find at the end that it costs more than the existing product. So the triggers happens to that company, how I can reduce the cost so that my product is competitive. So that uh, thinking or that point uh, triggers the company or the people in that company how to innovate so that my cost gets reduced. So in a way, the financial pressure means to sustain you in the market with that product, along with your competitors, you try to inculcate, think of in a newer way how to reduce the cost, how to increase your efficiency, and do more with less cost at the end of the day. Similarly, as I said already, that increased competition and shorter product cycle, this also helps you to think in a newer way. Suppose sometimes the government makes a regulation, like a few years before we saw, due to the heavy pollution, the government says no BS2 or BS3 cards should fly in the market. That means a strict regulation has now come into the way for thinking the car manufacturers to make how uh, higher version of BS can be achieved. That means if the BS3 is to be flying in the road, how we can do BS BS4 or BS5, and now BS6 is available. So that makes the people to innovate newer process, technology. Similarly, industry community needs a sustainable development, increased demand for accountability, demographic and social market changes. There are triggers due to the demographical location or the social condition. It also requires people to think in a different way. And of course, the changing economy and customer expectations with service and quality means every day the people are trying to develop a quality which is better than the previous day. So that makes the people to think in a newer way or innovate new things. So these are the basic catalyst for a newer for innovation to drive for any individual or any nation at a large. Next one, please. Now, since we are all talking from the university or the college or the institutions that we belong to, and this program is also in a way supported by the government for the development of faculty towards the entrepreneurial culture. So, university is one of the place to look at more seriously in terms of innovation ecosystem. See, you all know that in the university setup, which is a very flexible setup, everybody is boss and everybody can think in his own or in her own way. So that's the reason or place like this Adamas or wherever you are in the university setup is considered as a cradles of innovation. You know, cradles of innovation means cradles of innovation means everyone is considered as a active driver for the innovation cycle, and that's the beauty of the university uh, uh, compared to any other research setup like laboratories, other setup, because the university continuously giving you the fresh talents every year where the new set of students are admitting, you are getting the fresh talent into the flow and fresh talents as well as fresh research mind idea. So that's the reason university is considered as a very fertile place for innovation to drive. And that's the reason I said very first line, cradles of innovation. Universities are considered as cradles of innovation. So because of this fertile place, university, many startups and spin-offs are very comfortably or very conducive to grow, and finally they can make a established company. And that's the reason even government is targeting for the last few years the universities to encourage for making an entrepreneur uh, activity. And that's way many industries are also coming forward to the university to partnering. Means the the industry also understands today that if we want to do some research suitable for their product line or process line, university is the most important and most fertile place to uh, latch on and to tie up with them. Next one, please. Next one, please. Yeah. Even if you see today the national education policy, what government has rolled out few months before, and government also in the process of rolling out STI policy, science, technology, innovation policy, which is available for everybody to comment feedback in the public domain. are very supporting for innovation. So higher education today is closely following the innovation because helping to stay higher education more relevant and sustainable in a globally unpredictable environment. And strategically, this innovation, it molds the teaching and the learning methodology in order to cultivate new ideas, enhance creativity, encourage collaboration, and promote fusion and diversity. Because in not short, the university is a place where you can mold teaching and learning methodology in such a way so that you can cultivate the new ideas among the students who are coming every year. It also helps to enhance the standard of the education getting higher and higher. There is an imperative need for institutions to think outside the box and tap into the innovative mindset, which I already told that since there is a of the newer people every year, thousands and thousands people are coming into the academic setup, enroll their academic courses. So you all will get a set of new people having or thriving with new ideas. Maybe some of the ideas are very out of the box and disruptive. And those disruptive ideas, those out of the box ideas are today very important to tap and use it in a further entrepreneurship process. Next one, please. Now, when we talk about the ecosystem, you see, I said, industry is one place where the nurturing of the innovation is very much available because of the education, because of the research, because of the knowledge exchange for innovation system, and because of the strategic transformation through embedding innovation. But the other two players in this innovation cycle, innovation ecosystem, the equal role need to be played by the government and also by the industry. The government needs to play the role which they're supposed to play, which are strategic, regulatory, the funding, and facilitator innovation. In one word, I should say that government should be playing more as a facilitator, less on regulatory, but yes, regulatory role they have also to play, but more of a facilitator in terms of providing policy guidelines time to time, providing funding supports time to time, and uh, so that the innovation is thriving at the university uh, uh, sector. Industry is also very important, because ultimately, if an entrepreneur produces or if a student thinks an idea, he will or she will first see where and which industry are his or her competitive. So uh, he should see that part first. At the same time, the industry which are existing today also uses university as an external knowledge sourcing. So industry plays a very important role in this overall innovation ecosystem. Now, next one, please. We did. I saw a recent research done by the McKinsey, a consultant firm. uh, what they say, that there are few areas they identified in terms of uh, next few years engagement or trust by the innovators, by the economic, what to call, control, and which also makes societal reforms. And those three areas they identified as genomics, means biological area, energy area as an energy storage like batteries and others, and automation like uh, automobile and transportation sector. These three areas they identified as the major innovation sector, and they say the economic impact would be $14 trillion to $33 trillion a year in 2025, means next 4 to 5 years down the line. The value of these emerging technologies could constitute 1/3 of the global GDP. So that's a very encouraging that three sectors together takes care 1/3 of the global GDP. Now, to do that, there are four key challenges I understand uh, need to uh, play by the university sector, means the people who are in the university or the university administrator as a whole. One is fostering entrepreneurship through incubation, means your idea, your innovative thought need to give a place, conducive place to incubate so that you can come out at the end of the incubation period to a successful entrepreneur. Now, you all know what is the meaning of incubation. The incubation means the idea what you have, a very rudimentary idea, you want to some kind of sharpen your idea, fine-tune your idea, you need to work for few years or few months. That is the zone called incubation. And university should play a very crucial role to do that for any innovative person having an innovative idea. It should encourage collaboration with the private sector, means private industrial houses. It should also have a policy to encourage, to promote diversity as well as inclusion, means every sphere, every sector of the society should be there in your innovation eco cycle. Exploring the nexus of technology and society, that also very important. Whatever you do in terms of technological innovation, it must help, it must improve the societal uh, problem, it must improve the livelihood of the society people. And at the end of the day, using your technology, using your product, using your product process, their uh, uh, livelihood or their minimum earning level should improve. That's the bottom line of your innovation eco cycle. Next one, please. Now, in this innovation incubator ecosystem, simply your idea and this doesn't work, because you have an idea, but how to implement that idea? That's a major part. So there are a complete cycle I have trying to put it here, which you might find some of the, like if you have an idea, this idea needs to mentored, it should have a technical assistance by the technical people, it should be managed well in terms of intellectual property right. Your system should have a marketing expertise, financial expertise, networking with other people, and shared operation cost. You should have a place which is not very expensive. And to do these, you need to have some kind of funding. And to provide that funding, you should have angel network system who provides the funding. This angel network system could be a government, could be a private. So therefore, if you have an idea and then make it a business, this whole cycle needs to uh, uh, take care you so that you will finally incubate your idea to come out as a successful entrepreneurs. Next one, please. Now, I have put it here a few uh, agencies in the government sector mostly who are acting as some kind of incubator, means some kind of helping hand either in the mentoring process, networking process, financial process, so that you can incubate or you will be in a position to incubate your ideas to larger entrepreneur scale. There are the Department of Science and Technology has a division called NSTDV who has many programs, and one of the programs today we are is supported by them. Then there are Ministry of Electronics, MIT, Technology Development Board, in life science, BIRAC, in industry and other sector, MSME. So there are a couple of, apart from the private angel support, there are a couple of government supports today are available whom you can fall back on various schemes they nurture and implement. Now, when you start your business or start your idea, uh, you should be very, very careful because some of the agencies, they have their own chosen area to support, and some of the chosen areas what they support, like BIREC, mostly on biotechnology related. uh, then there are agencies, they also support healthcare diagnostic. MIT support ICT and enabled system. Technology Development Board, mostly the commercialization of a pilot scale idea, like that they support. So there are many agencies, but you need to be very, very careful when you hook on with an agency with your idea that who can do what. Suppose your engineering idea, if you go to the BIRAC, purely mechanical engineering idea, if you go to the BIRAC, they will not be in a position to help you. But if you have a healthcare, diagnostic, or agriculture related idea, BIRAC has many programs to help you in this process. So you need to know which agency, which idea can be fitted in. Next one, please. Now, when an incubator comes to a agency, what are the facilities and services they expect? This is also important to know as a new incubator to incubate your innovative ideas. So you will be requiring some office space, shared premises, technical infrastructure, means whether the equipments you require for your fine tuning of your ideas are available there or not. Some sort of advice on business like marketing of your product or processes. Then networking and linkages, means who are the people, means how to get a funding support, how to get other support. You can have a network and linkage, so you can expect that. Maintaining the IPR, how to protect it. Then commercialization of your innovation, means how you can find a market. And then financial linkages, means getting the seed funding or any other funding process, bank loan, etc. Now, innovator or an incubator needs to pass through a few steps, which basically are like he the EDP, the first process, which what we are today, the first one, the targeted oriented entrepreneurship awareness and promotion skill development program. So there are many programs which makes you aware like EDP, STST, and ESC, or need-based workshop and seminars, which prepares you how you can approach or how you can find your ideas to incubate. Then there are many agencies do the idea contest or hackathon. You must heard this name hackathon because of late the agencies like AICT or other, they do the hackathon and boot camp for fine tune or identifying the new ideas. Then they finally go for a platform to showcase your product or network with business great. Next one, please. Next one, please. Now, as I said previous slide, that what are the various steps from idea and then finally become a successful entrepreneurship? There are the few steps through which you have to undergo, and for that you need the physical space, networking, skill set, mentoring, and fund. Normally, for time frame, any engineering product it takes 2 to 3 years, and any biological product, it takes little more for fine tune and come up as an entrepreneurship in the market, which is maximum by 5 years. Please, how much time I have?
You have, sir. You have got time, sir. No problem.
I have time. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Next one, please. Next one, please. Next slide. Yeah. So this I just put it in a slide format that what are the time frame to encourage the innovation activities, various government programs and industry programs and other society like Tata, Marico, Angeli Trust from the Professor Marcel Kerr. These are other than government setup, which helps you to promote your idea through the idea contest and finally support to incubate. Next one. Yeah, this is another way to tell you the different steps from idea to commercialization and who are the people who can come into your way to help so that uh, whatever stage you are, you will be in a position to receive support uh, depending upon your level of uh, idea stage. Like if you are only at the idea stage, then to venture into the idea to the proof of concept, you will get the DBT support called Big Biotechnology Ignition Grant, MSME grant, and PRAS. Similarly, when you graduated from there and to go for a prototype, there are a couple of agencies who can come into your way, and from that stage to next stage, final commercialization, there are many agencies who can uh, be lending your helping hand in terms of funds, in terms of other mentoring support and marketing support. So every stage of your uh, idea, every stage of your development, there are agencies who can be tied up with you, make you a successful entrepreneurship. So there are today. So what we need or what we basically basically uh, look for your stage of innovation and the right agency to hook on. And that's is the job today for the University Incubation Center to connect you with the right person, right agency. Next one, please. Next few slides, I will try to give you an idea, taking a particular sector, that how that particular sector and that particular sector in the government support helps the innovators, helps the incubating actions, incubating activity in the last couple of years, and developing the various products and reach to a stage, including the projection for the next 5 years from now, what is their action. So I took the sector as a biotechnology sector because today all of you are very, very, no, previous one, yeah. Today all of you are very, very uh, inquisitive in terms of, or very, very aware about the corona pandemic. And in this coronavirus pandemic, you must have heard our Indian vaccine activity, or the vaccine actions, preparation actions, where uh, the two, in fact, one is completely Indian startup or Indian company has come out with the vaccine and now giving it to the people. So from that point onward, or from that reason, I took the biotechnology sector to an example to show how it is behaving today in terms of its growth pattern, and also the nurturing effort and future projection. Now, if you see the nurturing process of the biotechnology, it has a various programs which nurtures the stages and makes you a successful startup. Today, the 750 plus active startups with a valuation of 3,500 crore are in terms of their investment thriving for the biotechnology research. Next one, please. Yeah. No, previous one, yeah. If you look at it, the 3,500 biotech startups, 52 biotech incubators, 48 ranked in the Global Innovation Index in terms of biotechnology. And from 2007 to 2024, they have projected a growth, very sharp growth they have projected in the biotechnology sector. And what are today 12th position globally and third position in Asia. So with this position today, they are trying to reach, next one please. These are various schemes of the biotechnology which is implemented to the biotech, gives you an example of the how government biotechnology ecosystem works. Next one, next one. If you look at it, the projections, what they are making, the Department of Biotechnology, to scale up the startup ecosystem by 2025. Today they have 3,500 startups. They want to scale up almost 3 times, reaching to 10,000, and that's not a small in number in terms of creation, especially on one particular sector. Similarly, today they have a current product 100, they want to increase by 10-fold, 1,000. Similarly, job. In terms of bioeconomy, what they say today, the bioeconomy using the biotechnology is $62 billion. They want to reach by 150 billion US dollar. And the other are 125 bio incubator, some technology clusters, and the total worth of valuation could be around 3,500,000 crore, the valuation compared to 3,500 crore today's valuation. So if you see, there is a huge expectation or huge projection by the biotechnology sector, done by the workout by the biotechnology department in the country. And this is very encouraging in terms of our budding startup or incubators. If they have an idea in the biological area, they have opportunities to cash on. Similarly, the other sectors are also have a projections which I have not gone into detail due to short of time, but it seems that they also have similar kind of uh, projections in next 5 to 10 years from now. Next one, please. Now, let me give you some idea how these agencies or most of the agencies, including the private agencies, who supports for nurturing your idea and incubate your idea, follows some selection process criteria. Must be technology best. So I try to put some criteria. These are very illustrative. Is not the complete, depending upon the area, depending upon the sector, and depending upon the funder or funding agency, they change this criteria to suit themselves. But broadly, these are the criteria. It is a technology based and it should be innovative. Similar product, there should be some value addition. What I said earlier, should be completed some background work, commercial viability and sustainability must be established. The idea should have a proper business plan. In absence of proper business plan, the request for member to accept will be accepted if the business proposal looks prima facie promising to the expert committee. Clarity and potential to the market opportunity. Financial feasibility means when you come out with your successful thing, whether it will be feasible or not, because these are the criteria by a funding agency or an angel funder to your proposal to make some support financially as well as otherwise. Commitment, team members and experience, who are the people, what is their experience, whether they have a relevant experience in their area where they're proposing their idea. All these things matters to select your proposal for your funding. Now, so these with this point, I keep it here for the new innovators to think of their ideas, to consolidate their ideas, to make a plan, and to see which idea fits well, which agency for a support, and then look at the tentative criteria used by the funding agency and proceed forward in that direction. Now, the next one, the innovation, what India as well as other countries are pursuing, and today every country is very much aggressive in their persuasion to innovate and to become competitive in the process. So there are two index are available in that sense to rank the country, as well as in a country like India, rank the states. The country to country, which is called Global Innovation Index, and within the India, it is India Innovation Index. It is known as India Innovation Index. This innovation index is basically a number. Yes, it's basically a number to give you an impression how competitive or how innovative this country is or the state is compared to the other states globally or within the country. Like if I talk about the Global Innovation Index, the Global Innovation Index is really doing well compared to the few top countries like Switzerland, USA, UK, including China. For the last 2 years, India is continuously improving their rank. In fact, 2019, India improves by 4 places, and 2020 also India improves by 4 places, and today India ranks 48. Uh, of course, the developing countries or the other countries are Switzerland is the number one, USA number three, like that. While we are talking about the India compared to the other countries, we also need to that what is the position of the states, in fact, the state West Bengal compared to the other state. West Bengal index last year was good, but somehow when we see the report 2020, it has slided by 3 positions from the previous 2019. So, in fact, place like West Bengal or this, there is a huge scope and the demand to improve the innovation activity through incubation process, and many agencies are there who can forward to support your cause. Next one, please. Let me conclude by giving our own university, Adamas University, what is the level of innovation activities. In fact, there are many faculty members today who are inducted with specific responsibilities on innovation, incubation, and entrepreneurship to give a push on the activities towards innovation, incubation, etc. And towards that, Adamas has also set up a company called Adamas Incubation Foundation, which is a Section 8 company to foster and nurture the innovation activities. In fact, the university idea and then innovation needs to incubate or required to incubate at the incubation foundation. And uh, after few months to few years incubation, we are expecting that some of them will be able to graduate as a successful entrepreneurship. Now, I think to inculcate the innovative thinking process or encourage innovative thinking process, we as a teacher needs to encourage our students to ask questions. You have to innovate there also, how a student who has come from a very remote background and admitted into the university and begin with he or she is very silent, need not to come out from his comfort zone to ask a question, maybe silly one, but having some uh, fear that if I ask, my question is not silly or my question will be silly to the others. All this innovation puts him or her not to ask any question. I think we as a teacher need to break that innovation among our students and encourage them asking questions, however silly one it is or it will be. Practice hands-on learning. Theory teaching is fine, but students need to do hands-on experiments. So more and more innovative idea, innovative experiments would be required to introduce into our process, into our teaching learning process, apart from the set of experiments required to get a degree. Introduce inspiring innovators means time to time we need to engage ourselves with the students, with the successful innovators, and we need to create an environment where thinking new ideas are germinated and nurtured. And collaboration or teamwork is very important into this process. We need to inculcate or we need to encourage that. Next one, please. Now, in short, what I want to summarize is science, technology, and innovation are the three key pillars on which we a strong global foundation to connect with the people, society, and nation to meet the global challenges. Global challenges is the challenge including the local challenges, because if a local challenges can be met, global challenges can also easily to meet. Therefore, the science, technology, and innovations need to uh, harmonize, need to inculcate some kind of culture among our students. Next one, please. I will end up by giving two quotes, one from our own industrial house leaders, Mr. Ratan Tata. What he says that young entrepreneurs will make a difference in the Indian ecosystem in the future. Means you all are young, you all are can be converted into an young entrepreneurs. And these young entrepreneurs will definitely make a difference in the Indian ecosystem. The other one is Robert Kennedy, who says only those who dare to fail greatly can ever achieve greatly. Means you have to little bit uh, courageous to venture into this uncertain activity. Next one, please. Thank you to all of you. I will expect any questions from the participants. I will try to answer if there is any time available in this process. Thank you to all.
Thank you, Dr. Mukhopadhyay. Thank you for the nice talk and informative one. So we are now open for a discussion session, and I will ask.
I could finish within the time of 1 hour, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Thank you. So I will ask Dr. Chatterjee to come and so that we can handle the discussion. Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, all. It was a very informative and detailed session from Professor Mukhopadhyay, who has huge experience in dealing with innovation and incubation in the government setup, and he has very diligently has given us a glimpse of what are the necessities as well as how to deal with innovation, incubation related activities at the institutional level, and also obtain help from the government perspective. So now I would, as sir suggested, I would now make the floor open for discussion, and will encourage questions from the participants.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
I am Dr. Anil Singh from Government Science College, Wakal, Gujarat. Sir, what I understand that incubators generally provide innovators with the basic facilities that are required. But if a student wants to start doing some research for his company, from where he can get funding for consumables and all those things that are basically required.
See, the young individuals, whether he or she is a student, can also receive support. I know government support and other agency support, like the program of the biotechnology department, BIG, biotechnology ignition grant, where an individual can look for a good amount for a few years, 1 or 2 years, to fine tune his idea and then come out to a stage for further support from further agencies. So there, like that, like big, there are other agencies time to time announce it for the students to participate into the idea to uh, scale up. And I think Saptarshi can also tell some of the programs which he handles from the various agencies as well. Yeah. Saptarshi, you what you call
I think when you are willing to start or initiate any startup activities at your institutional level, the first thing required is to come to a position where a basic research is already conducted. That can be through basic research fund of government or any other agencies for that matter. Now, once you want to convert that product into a SPV or a proof of concept and then come to the market, then you should take help of incubators. You should align yourself with those agencies and apply for grant. Like there are some to set up incubation center, you have grant like Otol Community Innovation Center, BIDAC. There are various grants available, but again, that's the institutional level. At an individual level, when you want to carry out a research and get it to the next level, the better is to have a consortium or an incubation center to approach them, because standalone institute may not be having a facility of all the sectors required for a business. For example, marketing may not be present in a government science college. So if you know that marketing is a definite portion of a business component, so you will not get help from your college if you set up a incubator only with science or only with the domain of media or marketing for that matter. That is why
Right.
a consortium and handholding is essential, and those multi-institutional grants may be applied so that you can set up something on your own, or you can have a tie-up with multiple institutes, some management institutes, some of the technological institutes, some institutes with design or media having engineering background. So that will make the program more feasible. That will increase the scope of success for a startup.
right. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Saptarshi, sir, can you just highlight few options that a student has? Because there are many students who are having ideas and they are coming up with very good ideas, but probably going up to POC level, before going to POC level, there are a lot of things that need to be done. Okay, so are there any specific funding opportunities which are available to these type of students?
There are several
Actually,
hackathons.
yeah.
If you see, recently there was an Agri hackathon which was announced by Government of India. There is a hackathon called Toy Hackathon. So if you register to NISP, National Innovation and Startup Policy, if you have a IIC, Institutional Innovation Council at your institute, so they will be aligned to several government and MIC driven activities. And there are various ideation event, hackathon events going on in India, sponsored by the government, where maybe at the ideation stage, if you are picked up, government will fund you, and you will also get a monitoring and mentoring from various experts in the domain. So I think you should regularly check the hackathons, and I think Amal sir can add a few points to this.
See, students need to be at the institutional level by a faculty, because many of the information does not come to a students individually. Okay, so there should be a mechanism at the institutions that the students need to be some kind of mentored by a faculty who can time to time give the informations that hackathon like Agri or Toy or AICT hackathon engineering subjects are organized, and they need to participate that. Apart from many ideation competition also being organized by many institutions like IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, or any other IITs in that say. So once an idea is picked up by a select jury members, then the students has no issue. He will be given an opportunity to come to a place and nurture his idea. But at the very first stage, there should be a mechanism at the institutional level how to collect, how to pick that student idea into the forefront, into the national level or even the state level. That is the role of a teacher at the institutional level. You know, many small institutions may not have the setup, proper setup or formal setup to incubate an idea by a students. Okay. And in fact, in Gujarat, you have a very vibrant National Innovation Institute at Ahmedabad. It's founded by Professor of the IIM Ahmedabad, and now now he is not as a head. Somebody else is there. You have a very vibrant innovation institute in Ahmedabad. So you should tie up with that innovation institute at Ahmedabad. Your institute. You means your institute, because who also takes care of the grassroots level innovations. That National Innovation Institute is the institute under the Department of Science and Technology. Okay, so Gujarat is very uniquely placed in that sense. You are from which place of Gujarat?
It's a village, sir. It's a village which is 80 kilometers from Surat.
Doesn't matter because these people, they do the jatra, the padjatra kind of thing to pick up the grassroots level innovations and then register it and then nurture it. They have a many program. So registered with National Innovation NII, National Innovation Institute. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Very much.
We have time to pick a few more questions from the participants.
Any chat box? Any questions? No, there's no questions in the chat box. Okay. Okay.
So what I feel is that even before you proceed with innovation or you try to scale up in an incubation center, the first thing required is what I spoke yesterday, is creating the mindset for the faculties. And the second important thing is to prepare or to give awareness and popularize these concepts among the students. Because if there is some hackathon or ideation event, your student will directly not jump into it. They have to be prepared. Okay, let me do something beyond the curriculum. Let me think something innovative with which I can do a business or which has a potential innovative component to it. And then only when there is an ideation event or hackathon or some program organized, they will feel like participating. Because when a hackathon is organized, you cannot ask a student now start thinking. This thought process.
This has to be prior to the hackathon, because hackathon and all are every year's event by the agencies. So you should have some kind of a program to nurture your students and prepare them into that framework so that they can participate in a more easy way. That's the thing.
If there are any other questions from the participants. Okay.
I think we should come out from the inhibition what we have, as I said in my lecture, that asking questions is must, and that also that should be an innovative process. Like I give you an example. When I was conducting the Inspired Science Camp to a college in Delhi, the principal innovated every question, how silly it will be or it was, will get a chocolate. That student will get a chocolate. So such kind of innovative, and once he announced that, lots of questions are pouring in. So some kind of innovative method needs to apply in the classroom as well as this kind of workshop or seminar place. We need to innovate continuously, and we also need to come out and ask question, how silly? How silly? Because asking question is basically clearing your thought process. Clarity happens in your thinking process. So asking question is very important and essential aspect. So how many participants are there? 56 participants.
Presently 56, but many of them are watching in the university itself. There we have kept a central way.
Acha,
So that
central
every-
server. Okay. Okay. Okay, good.
Yes, sir, I had one more question.
Right.
So is there any difference between being an entrepreneur and being a startup? Because in Gujarat, most of the students who are coming, they are wards of business people, and they always come up with the ideas that they want to start a new branch of their already whatever business their father is doing.
Right.
Can it be considered as a startup, or we have to be completely innovative?
See, the startup may see. Suppose my father is a businessman, have a business, a cloth business, and I joined essentially after my graduation or after my formal education. I joined with my father into that business. So that is basically I become an entrepreneur, or I become a second generation. If my father is a first generation, I become a second generation businessman. But startup is something, a new idea uh, is ventured into, and then next is a complete business. So that's the difference between these two. Startup.
We are not
Could be-
speaking of only a transactional business, buying something for 5 rupees and selling at 6. Some innovative component, maybe a value addition to it, maybe some new
Right.
service to it, that will be inculcated through our academic system. Means in our academic system, we don't want to create business by just transactional. So then transactional business doesn't have much of component of research, knowledge,
Innovativeness.
some innovativeness, some uniqueness.
Innovativeness. Some innovativeness. Even that, second generation son improves the or puts some innovation into the father's business, it will be called as the new business kind of thing. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, sir, Dr. Goranga Patro. Sir, I have that small queries like already Saptarshi sir and also you have explained there are different funding agency who are interested to do funding for startup. So that like in our management science, most that there is huge scope of entrepreneurship and for startup related issues. So can you kindly elaborate that that what are what are the process that how a student can submit their proposal and can get funding from some funding agencies?
See, whether it is a management side education or is a biological side education, your idea should be new and novel. That's the first consideration. And that novel idea, if you want to make it a business or some kind of a successful entrepreneurship process, you need to go through the whole cycle of entrepreneurships, incubation entrepreneurships. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether you are a academics in business management or academics in biological sciences or academics in physical sciences. Your idea should be new and novel, and then if it is thinking of a product line, then you can make it like this way. Like I tell you an example today, we all know a business startup called Jalangi. The Jalangi is a group of IIM Ahmedabad students, pass out students. And they found that online business of fish and meat will be a very, very important aspect, and there is a good market on it.
Hmm.
They are the management group.
Yes.
Basically, I am Ahmedabad. Maybe their background is something different, biology or arts or anybody, which I do not know. But they wanted to make a business on fish and meat market, online fish and meat market. So they set up a startup.
Yes.
Today Jalangi is doing good business into that area. Of late, they have started with other product like rice, basmati, and West Bengal based rice, Govinda Bhog, and all this. Even the gur,
Mhm.
they are doing it, selling it through their online business portal. So what I'm trying to say that you need to see where the market is, and you have to make your business to survive, sustain, and profitable. So that's the basic philosophy into the business process.
So is there any difficulties to get, that the approval from the government side regarding this kind of things?
I don't think there are difficulties, because it all depends what kind of business you want to set up after your successful incubation. If it is a pollution uh, related, like if you want to set up a battery business,
Right.
which many people are now venturing into.
Mhm.
Now, battery, of course, people have a mindset, it pollutes. So you have to take careful venture into and take a approval from the pollution control board, local and central, so that your business can happen in a better way. So there the approval is little bit critical. Otherwise, such kind of example I gave you, Jalangi, it requires only the business through software, app-based, and financial side only.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Anurag Semwal raised his hand. He has some question. Please.
Santoshi, can you handle 2 minutes? I'm just coming
Yeah,
for
sure,
coming.
sure.
2 minutes.
Sure, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, Dr. Semwal.
My voice.
Yes, sir.
Very good morning to all, and
Good morning.
thank you so much, sir. Sir, I am Raj Semwal from IHMS Kurdwar in Uttarakhand,
Yes.
and the Uttarakhand is the hill area. So how can get the small ideas for the entrepreneurship and startup in hill areas?
The first question I will ask to you, it is easy to do business there or it is difficult to do business?
Yeah, difficult.
So when
difficulties.
you say it is difficult, then that means there is some problem. And when there is a problem, that actually increases the scope of business.
Next.
I request the participants to kindly mute themselves. So when you say that in a hill area, you are facing various
Bacteria.
problems, try to
Static.
find out these problems, because that will help you to have a solution to the problem. I'll tell you a very easy example that I have heard around a couple of years back. Some people in Darjeeling, normally what happens is in the tree plantation, they pluck the leaf with the bud. Now that actually creates a lesion in their finger because they are keeping on doing it. So they invented or designed a very simple machine which will do the same thing with least effort.
Okay.
So that's a great innovation that can be applied. Similarly, at your region, if you are facing a problem in business, that actually accounts to a scope for further business. First, you identify the problem, at least 5 problems to your students, and then try to find out, let them give you a list of feasible solution, and then with discussion, with deliberation, with various brainstorming session, come out with a solution which looks feasible, and then go for the proof of concept, incubation, and other thing. So every problem at any build, whether it's an industry or anything for that matter, is actually hinting you to a solution. And that solution, a solution to a problem, increases the scope of a business.
Thank you so much, sir.
Dr. Shuranjana wants to ask some question. Madam, please.
Yes, sir. Actually, I have a question, very silly question, maybe, I don't know. Sir has told me, given a very good presentation of what is the innovation and what should be the skills and some things, and how university are doing their best for the collaborations, and students and researchers are doing that. My question is, when we are trying to initiate a startup event as a graduation, as a faculty in a graduation college, if I thought of initiating a startup invention, so what should be in preference, that is the technical skill or innovation in mind? Because sometimes we have no technological skills, some works, or we have no experiences for doing some works, but we think that it can work, or it could be in my line of thinking that we can do it if we work in a group. But sometimes we have knowledge of the works, and the technological skills help us to do the initiate the startup, and without being innovative in mind, the project can be successful. So what should be given the preference so in initiating a startup project?
Yeah. See, if you have a good idea, if you have, looks like you have some idea to initiate the work which essentially can lead to a business proposition, if I understand correctly, and you belong to a graduate college where the atmosphere, infrastructure may not be so much to do this activity. That's the concern you are expressing, isn't it? If that is the case, then overnight you cannot create your infrastructure at the place where you are. So you have to attach to a place where such infrastructural facilities are available, how to incubate your idea as a startup. So first thing, you have to attach or you have to collaborate to a nearby incubation or nearby place where such infrastructures are available, and then you nurture your idea, reach to a stage, and look for funding at that point of time, that point of development, or develop something, and then you look for the agencies, right agencies for your financial support. But for maintaining support, for networking support, for infrastructural support, you need to reach to a place nearer to your working place. And those soft things you have to arrange, how you could maintain your job at that college, as well as nurturing your idea to another nearby places. So that's the way to look at. Saptoshi, if you have any idea, you can.
Just to add on, recently the Ministry of Education has launched the NISP, that is the National Innovation and Startup Policy, where they have asked most of the higher education institutions to come up with a policy for their students and employees. So employees creating their own startup is encouraged from the government of India perspective. You need to percolate this information to the highest authorities of various higher education institutions. There are various NISP coordinators from each higher educational institutions of the country. So you can definitely get in touch with them. Presently, I am working as the NISP coordinator for my institution. So I know that we are drafting the policy. We are drafting a policy which would help and encourage our faculty members and students to get engaged in such activities. So there is no conflict of interest that you are a faculty member and you want to get a new startup. You must be encouraged in this fund. And at any position, if you require any mentorship or help, I, on behalf of the Center for Incubation and Adamas Incubation Foundation, would definitely love to help you out. So get in touch with us so that we can discuss, deliberate, and make every dream of every person successful for making India a self-reliant nation. Any more questions from the participants?
Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
Please, sir.
It was a very nice session, and I have a question related to the.
Can you tell which agency or which institute you belong to?
Sir, I am Suren
One.
Singh Jagwan from IHMS Kordwar, Uttarakhand, and
Uttarakhand.
most of the students, most of the means almost near about 99% students in our college, they are basically thinking about jobs. So how to motivate these students, because their family background is also not a business background. So how to motivate these students for entrepreneurship?
Yeah. So, in fact, I touched upon this particular aspect in my lecture briefly, in the sense that, first of all, you have to do small competition in your college or in your institutions to identify who are the students bubbling with new ideas. Secondly, once you know that, you try to get the informations from place like this, where little bit better in terms of information, that toy hackathon or this hackathon or that hackathon, those students will be engaged into those competition. And once they test the success of a competition, once that student tests the success of a competition, I think your job would be over. Then you need not to bother yourself, that particular student, to nurture his or her ideas. So the basic premises would be to make them a test of a success of such competition. And for that, you need to do certain level of internal competition, internal encouragement, try to bring some fellow who has already successful in the entrepreneurship, have a lecture, maybe informal or formal lecture with that person. Like this, you can what to call inculcate or excite the students into the entrepreneurship. Yes, we all know that when I graduated in 1979, my father wanted to have a sarkari job rather than any other job. Okay, and we went into that, but slowly our next generation does not require a job; they require a atmosphere or a situation they can provide a job. So we are at a stage not to look for a job but to provide a job. That means जॉब सीकर से जॉब प्रोवाइडर, हमें वो बनना बहुत जरूरी है. एंड जितना जरूरी हम इस स्टेज को ट्रांसफॉर्म कर सकते हैं, इतना ही हमारे लिए अच्छा रहेगा. सो यू हैव टू प्ले ए रोल, how to encourage them, how to motivate them as a job provider rather than job seeker, maybe a government, maybe a private, but job seeker से job provider में ट्रांसफॉर्म करना आपका बहुत बड़ा रोल इसमें होगा.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
I think the scarcity of the jobs is itself a good advertisement that you cannot rely on jobs.
Yes.
You look at the applications. I was having a presentation yesterday, that there are millions of applications for a few number of clerical jobs. There are huge number of overqualified people applying for jobs which they should not apply for. So that itself says that everyone cannot be guaranteed a job. Then what is going to be the next step? If they are good in something, something they are extraordinary. No one asks Sachin Tendulkar or Saurav Ganguly whether they have graduated out or not. No one asks them because they are the best in their whatever they do. But for others, they need to find a way for their livelihood. And if jobs are not enough, how long will you look up to others, to industrialists to give you job? And these pandemic situation has taught us that it is not only that business has suffered, jobs suffered as well. So I think this, if you unfold the correct situation before your students, I'm not speaking about the tagline of institutes and universities where they use the CTC as the benchmark, that I have provided this much money as a CTC and that's why I come to my institute. Please unfold the true situation to your students, saying that you cannot get a job just by passing a degree from an institute. And after 20 years, whether you remain with the job also depends on your skill that you develop, because these skills are ever changing. So I think if you unfold the correct situation and the true sense, then you can motivate your students, as Sir said, and that can lead to them thinking for something else. And entrepreneurship is obviously one of the best options presently available with them to tackle the problem of scarcity of jobs.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have we got any other queries or comments from your end, the participants?
I think Saptarshi, make it a point or make some innovative ideas into the process, that at least these 56 participants in a day should ask 56 questions to various speakers, so that you will be in a position to make them or break the innovations what they have or are into.
We are unable to provide a chocolate, but I can definitely make a hall of fame for
Yes.
those who are the
Yes.
most interactive ones.
Yes.
Definitely, sir. So since we do not have any other questions, we will definitely thank Dr. Amalesh Mukhopadhyay, who has been a guiding force and who has led the government in different perspectives. And we thank him for making out his time in delivering a beautiful talk and informative session for all the participants. And since he is attached with Adams University, we always get his guidance. And anyone who would approach us for any help and all, I re-insist that this is not only a platform for learning,
right,
but it is a platform for networking between us, for hand-holding, so that the benefit reaches to each and every corner of the country and to all the students, despite of ethnical or language as a barrier. So I thank all the participants for joining today's session. And I thank Dr. Amalesh Mukhopadhyay for giving us such a wonderful session. With this, we conclude the first session of the day. We will be back at 2 p.m. sharp with the second session. Today, the second session will start at 2 p.m. So have a light lunch so that you are not sleepy in the afternoon, like our students, and enjoy the deliberation by the faculty members, enjoy the deliberation by our resource person, because what we are doing is partly for ourselves, but mostly for our students, and our commitment towards students reflects from our seriousness in attending such program. Thank you very much. With your permission,
in fact, I wanted to tell you, all of you, that this is, as Dr. Saptarshi said, this 1 hour or 12 days program is not the end of your connect with us. We would like to enjoy and cherish this connect for a lifelong or a much longer duration, and that's why our door is always open with you to mentor, to network, to resolve any issues you are encountering for any aspect on innovation, incubation, and others. Okay, so we are here to help you to increase the innovation culture across the country and to make the country a self-sufficient Atmanirbhar, what is the slogan for today's context. Thank you to everybody.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. We'll be back at 2 p.m. sharp with the next session. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank
With
you.
your permission,
Thank you.
I'm ending the session.